Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I apologize for being gone so long, but as many of you know, my son had surgery at the end of last month. I appreciate every one of you who sent prayers and good vibes. They really helped. He had brain surgery. They had to remove a cyst off his brain, but everything turned out good, and he's doing great back home. He goes and has the staples removed tomorrow, and we find out if he has to continue taking the seizure medication long term, or if he'll be able to go off of that. Fingers crossed he can go off of it. But on to the video. So today I'm going to do several different little jewelry trays for you guys. I'm going to be using the Kisserol resin. We all know that's my favorite. And I got these little molds off of Temu, and I've been looking at them, and I finally decided I'm going to go ahead and pour them and see what I can do with them and see how cute they are, because they look cute in the pictures, but you never know till you pour them yourself, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix up my resin. I got to get my gloves on, and we'll get to pouring these little things. I hope everybody's doing well. To my subscribers who have been here for a while, I appreciate each and every one of you and your patience waiting for me to come back, and all the love and the well wishes. You guys don't know how much it meant to me. It got me through a very tough time. And to those of you who are new, please hit the subscribe button. Hang out with us. We can be a fun group. Sometimes I forget to mute the background and y'all get to hear some dicey things. But I try to remember. I do try to remember. But I'm going to go ahead and get my gloves on here. The resin is sitting off to the side. It's already been mixed. That way you guys don't have to wait through that long process. And I'm going to go ahead and use this Saya glitter. And it's an opal color. I can't read the bottle right this second, and I can't remember which one it was, but I will link everything down in the description. I have a little bag with some little clear beads that I just want to clear up and get rid of. And then I have these cute little pearls that I got off Temu. I'm going to include those in a couple of the dishes and see how they go. Got my resin all ready to go. Apologize for the background noise. I had to plug in my charger, so if you heard that, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and pour these little pearls down into the mold. See if I can get them to fall into the little crevices and work themselves around. Go ahead and use the whole bag because there's really not much in there that they give you, but it's enough to do what I want to do here. And it's multi-sized little pearls, so they'll fall down in the sides, the little ones that'll fit, and fall down in all the little crevices. And I think they'll make a really cute little aesthetic in there. I've been trying to figure out what to use them in, and I said, hey, why not some jewelry trays, you know? I've been ordering quite a bit of jewelry off of TikTok from the girls that sell the Bomb Party fizzing jewelry. Their surprise jewelry reveals. Anybody who likes jewelry, you guys should really go check them out if you want recommendations for people to purchase from that I know are honest and are really good people. Just let me know down in the comments and I'll direct you in the right way. But we're not here to talk about jewelry. We're here to talk about resin. Give it a little shake. Get all the little ones worked down into the little crevices. I'm gonna knock everything over on the table first because it just wouldn't be a good night if we didn't make a mess with it. Let's not flop the little pearls out. Come on now. We've got to be a little more gentle than that, right? There we go. Get them all scooted around, shook around, and catch the escapees, because apparently some of them would like to run away. And we don't want them running away. We want them in the resin, not out on the table. And like I said, these are just little clear beads, so they just kind of add a little extra sparkle. There's not many in there. I just wanted to empty the bag and get rid of it. I don't even know if they're going to do anything. But, hey, at least they'll be out of my way. It's one less package I got in the drawer. I'll go ahead and spray around the edges of the mold with the alcohol. all to try to avoid any bubbles that might collect in there, because a lot of these molds with these little tight edges love to hold air. Oh, and I'm just going to shoot the pearls at myself, because why not? We'll play pinball with them. Get it all down in there. And do this one. When it's a more open space, I generally don't worry about the alcohol going down on the edges for the bubbles, because there's usually enough room for the air to circulate through and you can tap it out. But these two first molds with the pearls in them, they're very close on the sides, and I just don't want no air trapped in there. I have pretty good luck with this resin and don't get bubbles, so I don't want to start now. Get it in here, get it all rubbed around the edge, because those little tips up at the top, little ear looking thingies, or it's a bow, we don't want any air getting stuck in those and having big giant holes up in there, because that wouldn't look good. No, it would not look good. I originally had tried coloring the bow with a silver marker, but the silicone does not want to let the silver marker stay on it. It just wants to pull away, so we'll just go ahead and pour it with silicone and see how it, or resin, and see how it goes. I do love these Saya glitters. They're so beautiful. Now I'm gonna put some clear Elmer's glue into the resin, and Daniel Cooper, he's the one who came up with this trick, and he recommends one drip, there we go, per ounce of resin. I use a little less than that because I don't want it to be really gloopy, especially in some of these molds that have the tight sides. So I've got about 400 milliliters of resin. So I'll do 4 drops in the 400 milliliters. I probably should have put 2 per each 100 milliliters, but we're gonna do 1 and see how that goes. Because like I said, I don't want it too thick, otherwise it won't go down those sides. It'll just sit, good grief, in a jellyfish blob on the top. I apologize. My mouth is moving quicker than my brain is. We'll get that all mixed in. I probably, in hindsight, should have put the glitter in first and stirred it. Oh, look at that big bubble. One thing I love about this resin is it'll look like you have so many bubbles, but then once it cures up, they're just gone. And I'm going to use a little bit of this vintage blue, just a drop of vintage blue into the resin to keep it from yellowing faster, because just 1 drop of blue will deter yellowing of resin, because all resins eventually will yellow. This will just prolong the factor. I have things I've made out of this resin a year ago when I first started, and I still have no discoloration, and I didn't add no blue. But this is a trick I've learned along the way. And even though it looks blue in the cup, because that's where it's compact, it does not show at all once it's been poured. It's still clear because there's just not enough there to tint it. And I'm going to go ahead and add my glitter. Just going to pop the top off. And this is brand new, so it's full to the top. And we're not going to use a whole lot because we don't want it to overtake the pearls. And I really should have used a little bit less than I did, because it did kind of overtake the pearls. But I mean, if you're looking at them in person, you can still see them. You'll see what I mean when we demold this later on. But we'll go ahead and get it all mixed in, and I use kind of the whisk effect where, you know, kind of fold it in. That way you can get the resin from the bottom and you've got the glitter all throughout it, rather than have it all sitting in the first half of the resin and then the bottom half is just pure empty. Now, I did mix up way too much resin, so we are going to pull out quite a few extra molds later, because I misjudged how much these little molds were going to take. Like I said, I've never poured them before, And they take very, very little resin each. Go ahead and close that up so I don't drop anything in it and ruin my bottle of glitter. And we'll go ahead and pour it in. Just gonna pour them about halfway, that way the resin can work its way down into the sides and down into those two little lumps. Same with these. I'm just gonna pour it about halfway and then let it rest for a moment so it can pull the resin down into the sides. The big dish and little dish, of course, are the same. The little dish has a line to divide it in the center, and then the large dish has a line to divide the two circles. So it makes it cute ring trays or a necklace tray or earring tray. I'll go ahead and give this a squeeze, make sure there's no bubbles and air trapped in the little ears. Give that ear a little squish. Yep, so hot air pop out of that one. Go ahead and grab my stick and run it along the edges here and kind of coax the resin down in there, since it is kind of thick with the glue in there. It doesn't really want to just glide down in there like it should. So just give it just a little help down there and get it all in there and hope I don't trap no air in there. Because an air pocket would not be fun in this mold, that's for sure. And go ahead and do this little one. Move some of the little pearls more towards the middle because I don't want them all trapped to the outside. They could have been on the outside and I think they would have looked just fine. Get them all slid more towards the center, because the center of these for some reason seems to be just a little bit dipped in, so the bigger pearls will fit better more towards the center than on the sides. And I'm going to go ahead and top them off. And as you can already see, I definitely overtopped that one. Oh, you're not having fun if you don't make a mess, right? And boy, you'll see, I am having fun because that is one big mess. I definitely need to get glasses so I can see what I'm doing, I think. Get this all wiped up as best as I can because mercy me, even with all of it spilled out of there, I still have so much excess left over. And you'll see just what I mean by excess. I probably could have used probably about half of what I actually made. So I'd say for these 3 molds, if you have them and you plan on pouring them all together, about 200 milliliters is about all you're going to need. And even that might be a little too much, but I'd say 200 milliliters to be on the safe side. Give them a little spritz with some alcohol. Make sure no little air bubbles pop up there and make an indentation. I will say with this resin, I am very impressed with. I've poured it with fresh flowers and not had to deal with air bubbles around my flowers. It pretty much degasses itself with no problems whatsoever. Because, I mean, we all know when you pour resin with fresh flowers, I say fresh, I do mean dried. So you know I am not picking flowers and sticking them in resin, because we all know what happens when you do that. They rot and turn black. But you know how air bubbles like to cling to the leaves and stuff, and this resin, I don't do any squishing. I mean, I make the little acorn jars and put fresh flowers in there and just pour the resin over it. Squish around where the lip of the jar is going to be, and just spray the top piece of it with a little alcohol to keep little air bubbles from forming there and give it something to help it pop if it's degassing. And I've yet to have any bubbles cling to those flowers, and for me that is such a win-win with this resin, because most other resins I've seen, just you'll still get those little teeny tiny micro bubbles all around your inclusions, and gratefully I haven't had that with this yet. But as you can see, I have the little ring holder mold, and this is where you'll realize I mean, because this mold, it takes a little bit. I really did, yeah, I definitely made too much. So, bonus stuff. We all like a good bonus in a video, don't we? And give the little finger a squish. Make sure there's no air trap down in there. In hindsight, I probably should have used a little more glue, and you'll see why when these get demolded, especially the ring holder. My glitter did sink a little bit, but I wasn't mad at the way it turned out, so. But note to self in the future, use a little bit more glue. Daniel knows what he's talking about. Don't try to cheat it. And we'll get that poured, and as you can see, I'm still going to have quite a bit left. Hey, but at least we're having fun, right? And we love pretty glitter. Can't go wrong with pretty glitter, so it was worth it in the end. Get these scooted over, make room for the ring holder. And I'm going to try to drop a little pearl down there and see if I can get it to stay in the little finger piece, because I have one over here that just looks like it wants to be in there. I'm going to go ahead and poke it down with one of my sticks. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll stay. Spoiler alert, it doesn't stay. It floated back to the top. But don't tell nobody I told you that ahead of time. And we're going to go ahead and let that sit and see if the pearl stays. And now I got to find another mold to add more. Let me go ahead and spritz a little more alcohol on here. Let me move this over because I got to make room for another mold. I'm running out of space. And here we'll go ahead and pour some butterfly wing earrings with the rest of this. Hopefully it uses the rest of it. Get it slid down off of that mold so it's not at an angle. And just a little dab will do ya. Because these are very thin, and I won't have these to demold at the end of the video because, as you know, when you pour epoxy really thin, it takes an extra amount of time for it to harden, because epoxy don't like to be too thin and it don't like to be too thick. So these being so thin, they're going to take a couple extra days to finish curing up before they can be demolded, so they're not all bendy and sticking to each other. But we'll get them in there, and as soon as I get them demolded and get the hardware on them, I'll make sure I show them to you guys in a future video, because I'm pretty sure they're going to turn out really pretty with this glitter. Let's see how many of these we can actually pour. And as you can see, I've already over poured, but they're super easy to clean up when they're done. So I'm not too hard pressed about it. I'll try to get some of the resin off of the mold here in a few minutes, you'll see. But I really wasn't hard pressed about any overflow because it all just pops off when you pull the earrings out. They come apart pretty easy with no real cleanup from the excess. I'm trying to get some of that out of there before I pour the last ones. I've been working on an idea, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do for the next collaboration coming up in September for the Crafting YouTubers United. I think that's what it is. With Mini Scenes GB, upcoming autumn collaboration here for all of us YouTubers that want to join it. And I've just been racking my brain, and I had some things come in from Temu that I forgot I ordered. Apparently the package has been lost forever, so there's a couple things in there that might work for it. But we'll come up with something. We always manage something, but I only got 3 weeks before I gotta get the video done. And I am gonna try to post 2 times a week for y'all, but I may only make it to 1 time a week, but I will get better, I promise, and give you guys more content. I'm still just struggling with everything between the hurricane, my son's surgery, and other issues we've been having here at the house, having to get repairs done on the apartment that we put in for 4 years ago, and now they're finally deciding to do the repairs. It's sad when you got to threaten somebody with coding enforcement to get them to do major repairs that your home needs because they just wanted to be lazy and not do it. But we're getting there. We are getting there. We're doing good. We're definitely getting there. Go ahead and give them a little spritz with some alcohol. Any little micro bubbles that come up can just poppity pop 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 and not stick. Nobody wants bubbly earrings. Unless they're supposed to be bubbles, then we want bubbly earrings. We like bubbly earrings sometimes. Give the little pearls a little poke down. Get them where they go. Clean up a little more of the excess. I still have resin in the cup, but I'll pour it into one of my molds off to the side that I'm slowly filling up with the extras that I have left over. I think we all have one of those molds. I know Michelle over at Glitz and Glitters, Michelle, she always has an extra that she just chucks her extra in and then does something with the piece later on once it's finally filled up. And I've seen a few other YouTubers do it. I'm gonna get that excess dropped down in there. Like I said, I made way more than I needed to. But it's okay. There's always extra molds we can stick it in. And sadly, I did end up knocking that mold off, and all the resin went on the floor, and I had to clean it up. So I ended up with like maybe an inch out of the 3 inches of it that I poured in there. Okay, so it's been about 10 hours, and I think they can be demolded. Go ahead and get them peeled off. They're still extremely soft, but they're not so soft that they can't be taken out. I'm just too excited. I want to see them. Hopefully you're as excited as I am. As you can see off to the right side, I really do need to clean up my desk. I've just been making things and then neglecting it, and every time I think about cleaning it, something happens, and I haven't gotten to it since my son's situation. And I have 2 L-shaped computer desks put together like a U, and you cannot see the top of it. The only space I have is literally what you can see on the camera where I'm working. And get this started. Oh, get the little extra pulled off, because it's easier to peel off your overflow while it's still in the mold than once you get it out. 'Cause once you get it out, you got to shave it with something, and I still need to get a deburring tool. I keep threatening to get one, and I haven't followed through on the threat yet. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick it, or you guys will be here with me for an hour with my OCD. Oh, I'll get that off of there. Well, I really did overfill this mold. Every time I go to pick up a piece so I can peel the mold back, I gotta peel some more of the resin off that I overflowed on it. There we go. Now we're getting it. And like I said, they're still soft, so I'm going to be super careful getting those little bow tips out of there. Because we definitely don't want to pull those and misshape them or rip them off. Oh no, let's not rip those off. That would be terrible. There we go. That came out pretty easy. Pretty easy. Oh, looky there. That came out pretty. I'll clean that up later. I wish you could see just how much that glitter just really sparkles. Their glitters are so colorful and pretty. And here I go. My OCD. I'm going to pick at it anyways. Stop it. Put it down. You got more stuff to demold. Let's go ahead and set that off to the side, and we'll get the ring holder out of there. I love this flower ring holder mold. I loved it even more once I poured it and got it all demolded here. I didn't expect to enjoy it so much, because looking at the mold and even the picture I saw, you never know what it's going to look like versus what the picture is, because sometimes the picture isn't very flattering. But I really liked it with the glitter. And as you can see, the glitter sank down, but it sank down into the tips of the petals, so it worked out really well. I was very happy with it. No bubbles on the little centerpiece, which is like the inside of the flower, and yeah, I was really pleased with it. And I popped the mold back right, because we shouldn't leave them all wrong side out for very long, because they will misshape, and yeah, I caught myself. So misshape it, and it'll just mess up the mold. And yeah, goodness, this one's just full of boogers. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stand it. I was going to have to sit there and clean it. I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these unmolded. And while I'm doing that, I just genuinely wanted to say thank you again for everybody, for your patience waiting for me to come back with a video. I mean, I know my videos are sometimes long-winded to get here, But this time I was extra long, and I just appreciate everybody sticking around and waiting on me. Julia, I want to tell you thank you. You were such a rock for me through this whole mess. And Cookie, you held me together late nights when I wasn't sleeping. Just thank you, everybody. You all each mean the world to me, and I wouldn't trade a single one of you for nothing. Get the last couple of these demolded, because we don't want a 5-hour video. Nobody wants a 5-hour video. My video game streams can be, 13 hours. We don't need my resin streams being that too, now do we? This one's a little extra soft. I'm just going to be super careful getting it out of there. I love how just glass clear this resin is. It's so beautiful. And there we go. You can see the glitter and the little pearls through it. And the pearls are a little bit raised on the back, but it's okay. It doesn't hinder the way it sits on the table. So, yeah. I really like it. I was very happy with them. Get this one peeled out of there. Ooh. Excuse me, a little light. Carefully pull that out of there. I don't want to stretch it or pinch it, especially with it still needing to finish curing, but I was just too impatient to wait until the next day. I wanted to see. I like pretty things. And oh, it did turn out pretty. I am in love with that. And see, as you can see, the blue didn't hinder any. You get a little bit of the blue in the ring holder because it's a much thicker piece. So, it's more condensed. So, the blue did show up. But I was glad for the blue to show up. I knew it would, because it just kind of offset with that opal glitter. But thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with me. You could be anywhere else, and you choose to be here with me, and I'm grateful. I hope each and every one of you is doing well. Let me pull one of these rings out and let you see how it looks on the little ring holder. But I hope each and every one of you is doing well. I hope your families are doing well. I hope everything's going right in your life. And I just wish the best for everybody. Pop that on there. And yeah, looks good, looks good. I'm happy with them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me for the next one coming up. I enjoyed nothing more than spending a little time here with you. I think I will set my autumn video for premiere so that I can chat with you guys in the comments while we watch it together, and tips, tricks, fun jokes, whatever we do that night. I'm there for it. I am here for it, but I want to connect to you guys on a more personal level more often, so I will definitely do a premiere where we can have a live chat for the autumn the autumn collaboration. And I think I'll start doing that with all my collaborations so we can all enjoy it together. But that's it for tonight. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.